EB ignores Alex's beckoning and walks straight to Shango. She clasps her hands in front of her and courtesies to the giant, thanking him for protecting them from the attack of the evil creatures and saving Alex's life. Shango, in return, nods in appreciation. Shango explains who the skinny men were. He tells his curious guests that the shape-shifting ghouls are actually spies and dark infantry of a Vila demon, Brutus Demonicus, also known as Nebras, who is the head of the Order of Demons, and whose only objective is to prepare for the final destruction of mankind. Brutus is one of the original rebel angels and loyal servant of the Prince of all Evil, Lucifer himself. He explains that Ade, Alex, and EB's coming together was no chance meeting, but ordained by fate, and they must now accept the responsibility and task of forming a resistance force which has been long foretold to be the ones that will defeat the Angel of Darkness. Ade cuts in, interrupting Shango's speech, and demands that he be set free from any more duties, insisting that his role in the so-called divine task is already done. He asserts that his initial obligation from Shango to deliver EB has been fulfilled, and so he is not going to be part of another quest. EB snaps in. What obligation? So you mean you knew all this while you've been stalking me, pretending to be a friendly neighbor? You're pathetic. She then turns to Shango and asks why he wanted her brought to him. Shango gives a deep sigh. Then he explains to the group that a great impending doom is inevitable, and they have been chosen to prevent it. He continues, long ago, mankind knew the powers that he inherited from the Creator. There was a time when the seas were calm and the sky was clear. But the rulers of men put their individual interests before the happiness of the people. Elders grew thirsty with lust for knowledge without wisdom. Kings sought power without compassion. And so the world lost its soul. Then evil became bold and ruled where men once did. It is in the children that we must once again find our courage. Children who once defeated giants, and young men fought and tamed lions. The time has now come when the children of man must rediscover the power within and become whom they were born to be. And he tells them that there lies within each of them a unique ability and a role each must play in the task ahead, and if they refuse or fail in the quest, then evil shall be let loose upon all of the land, and the devil and his demons will reign and have dominion over the world. He then leads the sobering group. Come with me, let us go. There is little time, and there is much to tell you, and lots of preparations to be made. Shango takes his new team to an open yard at the back of the warehouse, outside where he reveals to them details of the enemy's plans. Shango narrates how several Watcher Angels were sent by the Creator himself to guide humans and keep them from immoral and wicked ways, and also to help them grow in wisdom and knowledge. This task the Celestial Watchers did, but over time the Watchers witnessed mankind procreating and growing in number. And they also began to lust after the finest of the women, wishing also to procreate, for never could angels bear offspring. Discovering that is it the earth that brings forth, they soon understood that being on earth, they also could procreate. Thus the heavenly angels began to seduce women from the human tribes, and so began to lose their own holiness. They began to teach humankind various forbidden celestial skills and secrets, including the art of magic and war. The Watchers and their demigod children born from their acts of fornication, Nephilim as they were called, soon grew in number and began to lead large groups of men and women through great distances to new lands, founding large and powerful kingdoms. Then the Lord sent a powerful archangel to bind the devil and most of his associates, and God then caused a great flood to cleanse the lands. Most of the unclean were destroyed. But some of the demons of Satan survived, as well as some of the Nephilim children of the Watchers. Shango tells his bewildered guests that he also is a product of the descendants of the survived Nephilim. While he and his defenders have enormous strength and great knowledge, they have not inherited the likeness and authority of the Creator. Shango also discloses that Brutus has led 4 other vile demons over the ages to set up powerful kingdoms and secretly rule such kingdoms, seducing and corrupting the minds of men. Now Brutus Demonicus, being the leader of the dark side on earth, is preparing to open a gateway between the dark realm and our world for his master, Satan, and his horde of devils to take over the world. Shango further reveals that he and several Nephilim descendants have fought Brutus and other foul demons over the ages, but they continue to lose the battles. Now Brutus Demonicus is gathering 4 surviving demon warlords, and together they will set up 5 beacons in 5 towns in the cradle land of mankind, the heart of Africa. Now he, Shango, and a few other protectors must unite the chosen children of man, and it is they who will defeat the evil which is about to unfold. After hearing all what Shango narrated, Ade gets angry and asks why God himself, with all his powers, just ignores all the enemy's deeds and does nothing to stop any of it. Turning to the 2 young men and EB, Shango replies, God created humans in his likeness, and they have inherited his essence, giving humans godlike abilities to fulfill their primary role of developing, caring, and protecting the world. Therefore, the Father cannot interfere directly, else mankind will lose the authority and dominion over all that he has created for them. He only intervenes to lift people up when they falter, and he is always available when people ask for help. Sadly, the world has fallen asleep and forgotten who they are, where they come from, and the reason why they were created. Shango continues, now we must all unite in arms and spirit to confront our common enemy by rediscovering that lost connection with one another and the universe. That is the only way we can hope to defeat this potent foe, whose plans are now set and ready to destroy the world. Ibi asks Shango, how did that Brutus monster and other evil creatures survive the Great Flood? Do they have amphibious characteristics, or could they have flown out of the earth and returned after the flood cleared? I don't see how they could have escaped their intended destruction. Shango pauses for a moment, then replies, there are things we know, and there are things we do not know. Shango continues, and that's not all. We only have a couple of days before the final phase of the enemy's plan is initiated. You 3 must go immediately to the Jesuit Abbey in St. Andrews. There you will meet the seer. He is the wise one. He will tell you what you must do and help you with all that you will need. Alex exclaims, what? That's in Scotland. In fact, far along the west coast of Scotland countryside. That's a 10-hour drive. He expresses his frustration even more. And in that Mini, it will take us a whole day. Supporting Alex's doubts, EB sarcastically murmurs, that's if it gets there at all. Ade chips in boldly, I can make it in 3 hours. Alex hisses as he objects, who made you the leader? No way I'm sitting at the back this time. Ade turns to Shango and asks sarcastically, That's if you have a Ferrari. EB and Alex both burst into laughter, pointing at and mocking Ade. Where are you going to get a fast car in this old abandoned warehouse? Talk less of a Ferrari. Shango cuts into their chortle. Ahem. I just might have a Ferrari packed just down over there. He points to the far end of the large junkyard. Shango walks his new team to the edge of the yard. They spot a red Ferrari and immediately race to the bright red sports car. Ade gets to the car first, opens the driver's side door and smiles as he nods repeatedly, saying, "Now that's what I'm talking about." EB interrogates the giant. "Aren't you coming with us?" She continues her query. "You started this. You can't just send us off to some unknown monastery, to some mysterious stranger." Shango explains. "I have been in deep hibernation for centuries. My body and weapons are still trying to adapt to this realm and era. I need some time to recover my full strength. You go ahead. I will surely catch up with you." The three excited rookies get into the dazzling race car as Shango, now looking pensive, bids them farewell, saying, "We are now in uncharted territory." Ade puts the pedal on the metal, and the tiny red beast responds with the gentle sound of a throaty rumble, then suddenly explodes with its characteristic thundering roar, reverberating in the entire surrounding. Looking at the speedometer needle, go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Ade puts up a grin of satisfaction. Noticing that Ade is in a pleasant mood for once, EB dares to ask, "By the way, Ade, how did you meet Shango?" Ade's smile slowly morphed into a contemplative expression. Then turning to EB, the tough guy narrates, "It was my first week in Vintage Street, and not knowing my way around the shopping district, I got on my bike to explore the neighborhood. I had barely ridden through a few streets when I noticed a yellow Mini Miner tailing me." EB interjects with a sigh, saying, "The Dark Shade Gang." Ade responds in the affirmative and continues, "I lost them in a crowded streets for a while but missed my way, emerging onto the highway. They found me and ran me over. I was hurt, but I still tried to defend myself. They pulled out knives while the leader, Chris, watched in amusement. I tripped and fell, making it easy for the 5 thugs to surround me. I thought I was a goner for sure when suddenly there was a loud blast of thunder and lightning. From within the misty cloud that engulfed us all emerged a flaming giant. The gang scampered, tumbling over one another. As for me, I was too hurt to run, yet somehow I was not afraid. It seemed like we were communicating telepathically. After the gang boys ran off, the flames of the giant subsided, revealing the magnificence of the creature. He called my name and spoke to me in my native language, Yoruba, telling me not to be afraid. He took me inside that abandoned warehouse and miraculously healed my wounds. He then narrated the same tale of doom you both just heard and told me of the prophecy, and that you, EB, was essential to his plan to save mankind. He made me promise to bring you to him, and my role would be done. I tried to get close to you, hoping to win your trust and maybe convince you to meet with him. But it seems fate had some other plans, and the rest is what you know already." The 3 new friends continue their drive, with each one asking long-harbored questions, and many times they laugh and ask more questions. Each of the 3 take turns to drive the sports car, competing on mastery of driving and other motor skills. Ade's race driving skill is proven as they pull up at the ancient abbey in good time. Proud of his arrival time, he boasts to his mates, "I told you with a Ferrari, I will make Scotland in 2 hours." They see an imposing figure standing in the middle of the road. The three travelers stare at the monk-like bearded man for a moment, wondering what is next. They step out of the car, then notice something quite odd. Ade yells, "What the?" His other travel mates are also gobsmacked, as they see that they were actually stepping out of the same unimpressive yellow mini minor car they drove into the warehouse, and not a Ferrari at all, and not even a red one at that. Forgetting the monk character, the three youngsters freeze in amazement. The seer welcomes the still dazzled youngsters. Knowing why they're stunned, he smiles as he tells the three team members that Shango loves to play these illusion games, telling them that it's Shango's little game he calls seeing is believing. It is a lesson he tries to teach most people he meets, that there is more to see than what is in front of you. The seer explains that Shango has always been this way, since they both met when the giant was a stubborn little giant kid. Trying to calm his new guests, the seer explains further. Shango never really had the opportunity to be a real kid. He was raised and treated as a future king, right from birth. That is what some of us have to sacrifice, being what we are. EB inquires, "You speak as if you are one of the demigod children, but you look normal, I mean human, just like us." The seer answers, "Yes, I am a second-generation Nephilim, born with the gift of my grandfather and my father, who were also seers. I inherited my father's ability to read the stars and interpret the constellations, but did not inherit his physical form. He wasn't a giant like many others. He was a therianthrope, a mixed form, part man, part beast, like a mermaid, or in his own case, a merman. He wasn't a fish, though. He was part man and part bull." Alex burst in, "A minotaur." The seer smiles in surprise. "Yes, exactly. He had the body of a man with the head and tail of a bull. The wise minotaur, as he was called. He was big and strong, wise too, very wise." Gazing up to the sky, the seer continues his tale, bringing back fond memories. "I took my mother's human form, but inherited my father's gift of clairvoyance, the ability to read the stars, and sometimes even able to influence their movements." Looking at the three travelers, he asserted, "You too can do that, you know. You have more powers than you know. All humans do. The Creator gave you much of His essence, and you must learn how to connect with the universe. It takes a strong belief and something else, which most people would rather not do." The seer beckons to his guests, ushering them to come inside the monastery with him. But still standing in amazement, they all asked simultaneously, as if planned, "Do what?" The host turns around and replies, "Conquer your own selves. Your biggest enemy is your ego." People build huge statues of themselves and place it in front their own path, blocking their own way, making it difficult for them to move towards their destiny. Speaking thoughtfully, the seer continues, "There are two beings in everyone, you and yourself. So I ask, who are you? And what do you do about yourself? You cannot teach a man whose cup is full, and not even of water, may I add, but of himself. When someone's mind is full of nothing, you can't get something into it anymore. You must always control yourself." The seer smiles, trying to soften the mood. "Come now. You all must be tired and hungry." After eating a much-appreciated hot meal, the host leaves the trio to some alone time to let the weary travelers settle in. While EB and Alex play their silly games, Ade spends his alone time pondering about the entire unfolding events. The seer eventually walks into the monastery courtyard and breaks the tranquil of the young guests. He sits down on a stone bench under the shade of a tree and invites his guests to sit with him. He tells the now relaxed trio, "There is a lot to tell you, but I'm afraid there is very little time and so much to do. Continuing, he says, "There are things we know, and there are things we do not know." Alex interrupts the old man. "Oh, not you too." The seer continues. "Yes, I'm sure someone must have said that to you. That's because it's true. Indeed, what I'm about to tell you now may be too much for young people like you to understand, but it must be said, and you must listen very carefully." Alex inquires further. "Are you some sort of Gandalf?" The seer asks, "A who?" Alex asks further, "You know, a wise wizard with supernatural powers, whose job is to teach us magical stuff and lead us on our hero's journey." The wise old man shakes his head in disagreement. "I am one of many helpers, keepers, as we decided to call ourselves. We are a group of new watchers assigned to protect mankind from the evil that still lurks in the world. We have protected the world for many generations of man, ever since the original watchers became corrupted, and also brought corruption to the peoples of the world. We recite the following words as a reminder of past mistakes and also hope for the future. Long ago, mankind knew the powers that he inherited from the Creator. There was a time when the seas were calm and the sky was clear. But the rulers of men put their individual interests before the happiness of the people. Elders grew thirsty with lust for knowledge without wisdom. Kings sought power without compassion. And so the world lost its soul. Then evil became bold and ruled where men once did. It is in the children that we must once again find our courage. Children who once defeated giants, and young men fought and tamed lions. The time has now come when the children of man must rediscover the power within and become whom they were born to be." E.B. thoughtfully responds, "Yes, we have been told that already by Shango after the attack in the warehouse in London." The seer nods and continues. "The world faces an imminent danger once again from a group of demons from a prehistoric era, led by Brutus Demonicus, the ruler of hell on earth, whose true name is Belial. Brutus leads 4 ancient hell servants: Beelzebub, Lord of the Flyers; Dagon, Prince of the Depths; Moloch, the Nightwalker, consumer of infant souls; and Chemosh the Destroyer,